This is Irontrader. This is the last call of the day. So we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, Ethereum ETF, ETHU, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look here at the indexes, the Dow, the S&P, and the old Nasdaq. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas, along with the EI report for Natgas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation by selling stock by ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin. Now, hammer time on old Bitcoin here. Now, again, starting the week off, you had about $1.5 billion in sales on Bitcoin, which really kicks in all the stop losses. And now you got about $22 billion worth of options coming here. So again, it's just getting hammered here today on the old Bitcoin. Okay, so let's just take a look and see what's going on. Okay, so we had this nice level here. We're holding that 50-day like birds on a wire, and then this was Friday's candle. This was the tail right here, because see what it is, we put in a lower high and a lower low, and we closed below that 8-day and that 50-day. That just started the whole reaction. You see where it went up, we couldn't get above that 8-day and 50-day, and then it came right on down. Now yesterday it came down, made a really nice good trade in the BITX because they held that 100-day and then it rallied right on up here. Okay, so now what we have here going on here today is just a big lower low and lower high, just a big red ass candle. Okay, so downside, what you're looking for here is that 108.555 level. Your next level is going to be right here at 108.20 level, and then we have your retest at 107.790. Now again, if we start losing this is going to be really hammer time here, because what we have here, you got that 107.790 level. So when you take this right across here, okay, what you got here, you got 107.680. That's selected, and then your next big target is going to be right down here at the 105.40 level, and then we come down to the bottom there, 103.850 level. Then we have 103.10. We'll come down to the bottom of this candle here, 124.25 level. Then we come down to the bottom there. You're looking at 108.15. And then we have this big retest candle down here at 99.90 here. We have the 200-day sitting here at 102, so you always want to watch that. That's going to be key. Now, when you look at the weekly chart here, well, if we start losing this here, 21-day, by tomorrow. Okay, this is a weekly chart, so a weekly candle here. So right now it's red. That doesn't mean tomorrow that it can't pop right back up again. Situation like we had here. But again, we lose this here by Friday at a closing basis. We have a target down here at the 99.459 level, which would probably line up here pretty good here at 99.90 level. Okay, so just always remember that. But that's only if we start losing that 107.790 level, and you lose this key 200 SMA here. Now you can see here 41. This is nowhere near oversold. This could go way down the same way with the green over your red. This could go way down the same way here on a weekly chart. You got plenty of room on the downside, and the green is over your red. This just looks like it just wants to go lower. Now on the upside here, we just do the opposite of what we did before. What we're looking at is this candle right here at the bottom. We're looking at 109.720. That is your resistant level here. It'll come to the bottom of this candle right here. That's 110.480 level. Then we're going to start going into the 100-day at 111.290. We start getting above that. We come to the bottom of this candle here, 111.970, and then we start hitting that 113 level, your 21-day, and then we look at that 8-day at that 114.296, and then we look at that 50-day at 115.461 level. Now you can see how the 8-day crossed over 21-day, but you notice it never crossed that 50-day. It hit it and then just kind of rolled down, and this is the result to have this big ass red candle. Now, that all be saying everything, oh, this is bearish, this is bearish, this is bearish, and not really that much. For a simple reason is, remember, October is really the best month there for Bitcoin. I'm just looking here for buying opportunity kind of a situation. Easy way to trade this, IBIT, that's a 1-to-1. And then you have the BITX, which is a 2-to-1 ratio, which is the one I trade. Now, you can always do BITI, which basically BITI is your short. And it's how to short the Bitcoin, which I actually jumped into today. So let's just take a look at that real quick. Okay, there's your Bitcoin chart. So you always want to put these side by side no matter what you trade. Now, here's the short on BITI, because I'm long the BITX, okay, because I like getting that dividend. I think eventually it's going to be another buying opportunity I can just add to my position kind of situation. But in the meantime, you know, you got to make some green here too. So what I did is I just jumped to the short ski. So there's no one says that you can't do two at one time, okay? So that's what a trader does. So you can see here where we had this yesterday, had the high of 1867, and then we just jumped right on up here today. Okay, so you made a nice high of 1941. So realistically, your low was 1886 and 1941 here. So right now here, I'm just kind of still holding the situation. I'm going to see how it is at the end of the day. But what I'm looking for on this is the top of that candle at that 1950 level. Now, if we break that 1950 level right here, okay, then what you can do is you're going to come up right to the next level, which is going to be right up there, which is going to be that 2011. And then we'll come up top of that candle there at 2087. And then we can work yourself all the way up here, 2122 level. And then we have that 200-day sitting at 2148 level. So again, this is an easy way to trade it on the short side. So if you are long, you can hedge yourself with the BITI, because I'm just waiting for this here to settle down. Then I'll just add more to my position on that. But the BITI here, I can make some green there in the meantime. Okay, let's take a look here now at that Ethereum ETF. Okay, Ethereum, same way, hammer time. Okay, so what we did is we had this double top situation. Let me bigger up a little bit for you. Okay, so we had that double top situation, came down and consolidated. And I said, you got to watch this level right here. That was going to be the key, that 36.91. Now you can see where it just gapped right on down. Okay, and then we had this sideways kind of an action here. You could not hold that 129, and then we just gapped right down again. So right now, today, we made this low of 109.21. So your next level of support there is going to be right here. It's going to be that 106.52 level. Then we'll come down here at that 105.46. We'll come to the bottom of that candle right there, 102.62. And then we have your 100-day, okay, at 100.09. And then we have 97.37. These are your downside targets. Now, again, if we start losing that here under Ethereum here, we have this gap. Watch this gap right here. You're looking at 87.62, that's your next support level. And then we have the fill at 83.87. So your gap and your fill. And then we can look to the left of the chart here at 76.45. And then we want to look to the bottom of this candle here, 75.72. There's your gap. And then we have another fill at 71 flat. Okay, so you another gap. And then we have another fill here. Now, that's only to say if we start really getting hammered, you lose your 100-day or 200-day. Right now, this is not nowhere near oversold. This can go much lower. That could go much lower. So I'll be looking here. If you're trading this, looking for that probably that 100-day and that 200-day there on the downside. Now we've done another big gap situation. So on the upside here, we have this high of 122.37. There's your gap, and then you want to look to the bottom of that candle at 130.43, your gap and your fill kind of a situation. Now, we never filled these gaps. We just kind of like gapped right over it. So this will also become resistance right there at that 125.62 level. This will become resistance, 127.69. And then the bottom of that candle, 127.19, before you hit that 129.32 level and before we hit that fill at that 130.43 level. So again, this is just chop city. I don't trade this. I always trade the Bitcoin. I just find out with the BITX, it's a really good trade here, but now I just jumped in the short ski just to, take it, make some green here while it's on the downside. Now, again, we lost this 8-day, and I just said, well, we could come all the way down to that 50-day, and it didn't look like it was possible when you're up in that area, but it is possible, okay, 106.52, and then we want to watch that 101.45 level. That's going to be very, very key on support here before we start getting to this 100-day and that 200-day. But again, everything you really need to know here is right here, kind of a situation. Watch that gap and watch those fills. And that's always going to be a situation here. And then always watch that 100-day and 200-day. Those are your key levels there of support. But always watch that weekly chart. Now, we got a little bit on overbought a situation, but now she just headed right on down. The green is still over red, but if that curls down, this could go much, much lower kind of on the situation. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, gold came right on down here, but you notice how nice it's holding that 21-day. Okay, so basically when it broke right on out here, we just ran up. Then we consolidated, okay, ran up, consolidated, and ran up. We put a topping tail in here, but realistically, you're still consolidating. So as long as that price is above that right there, that 37.43 level, it's going to be sideways to up action, okay? So on the upside, you want to watch today's high, 37.92, yesterday's high, 38.12, and then we want to watch that 38.24 level. That's going to be very, very critical. You crack that, it's 38.50, 39, maybe even 39.20 level is what you're going to be going on. Downside, just watch that 8-day. That's going to be everything. If we lose it, you come down to the bottom of this candle at 37.18. That could be your next support level. And then come right down here to this 36.60, which lines up very, very nice here, 36.64 level. Okay, so that's going to be your downside. Now you can see here how strong this is. Even though this is like an overbought condition, you have a very, very strong chart. Your momentum, your green is over your red here. So there really isn't any red flags here. As long as we hold that 8-day on a closing basis, that's going to be very, very critical. We lose it, look for your 21-day okay, for your catch-all. That'll be your next key support level. Upside, 38.24. If it rallies back up there, we got to see what exactly what it does, okay? Does it crack through? Does it hit it and come right back on down again? That's the key is. Well, what is it going to do once it does? And it does hit that. If it cracks through, just look for that 38.50, 39, and 39.20 level. Now, silver, you can see the same thing. Very, very strong. Green is over red with good momentum. And that we're all above that nice 8-day simple moving average. Now, when you look at the bottom of that candle there, we had 41.48. We retested it with 41.49. Okay, see that? Tweezer bottom situation. Okay, then once we crack above that, then that was your time that tells you that you got to get in here. SLV was a great trade. Another great trade at SLV here. Then we had a couple of stickies. And then look at here, we're back right in the thing, 45.39. So when we were down here, I said you have to look all the way. We were down here at this 42 level, okay? And I said you're going to go to the 44, but really 45 is what I was looking for. Now I say we got above this 45.37. We're breaking out here above this that 44.77. So realistically, I'm now. I think you. I mean, I don't think I just. You can just tell that this wants to go and kiss that 50 mark. Okay, so eventually over time, I just think this is going to go higher. So even if this pulls back a situation here, I just think that's good buying opportunity. So as long as we're above that 8-day, this is sideways to up action. Now on the downside, just watch that price channel, 44.77. That's going to be very, very key level. We lose that, you come up here, 44.39 level, and we have the 8-day at 43.53 level, and then we can come over here to the top of that candle, 43.43, and then what we do is we just work yourself right on down here, but really that 42.24, that's going to be your target if you lose that key 8 SMA here. But again, we're sitting here, we're right above that price channel, which means look like we had here. Eventually it'll come right back in, but look at here, we had 3, almost 4 days here outside that price channel. So this is only day one. So this could rip up nice higher, but I'm still looking for that $50 mark here on your silver. So I'm long actually the SLV. This is looking very, very good as long as we hold this price channel. If not, I'll just get stopped out and she'll be done. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude and Natgas. All right, here we have the old crude ski, and we have Natgas. Now you can see here, crude, we held this key support level here at that 61.45. Okay, we hit it, came close. See how nice that held? Now the 8-day crossed over your 21-day, and now we have a nice candle going on upside. So what we're looking for, we're looking at that 65.05. Right now you're sitting at 65.14. Your next level right there is going to be right there at 65.72. And then right above it, we have that 66.03, which is basically right there. You get above that, you get that 66.87. That is your 200 SMA. Okay, that's where we go. Now, again, if we pop all above that, we have a nice big target all the way up here at that 70.51 level. But let's just take one level at a time. Now, downside here, we want to watch that 64.65. That's your 100-day. We want to watch your 64.43. There's your 50-day. And then we want to watch that 8-day at 63.77 and your 63.53 level. Okay, that's all you need to know. Okay, on the downside is just watch that 100-day, that 50-day, the 8-day, and your 20-day. We lose that, then you can come right down to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at that 63.25 level. We'll come down here at 63.03, come down here at 62.20, and then we just follow down 61.85 and 61.45. That is going to be your key level. Now, eventually, I think this is we have to see what the reaction is. If it gets to that price channel at 66.03, does it pop up and go up higher and try to reach that level? But I think overall here, as you get towards the end of the year, I think the crude oil will be right back down to the 50 level here. Well, we're having a nice good run up here. Now, remember, anything can take this up. That's why I like trading crude, because it's installation play. Again, I'll show you this again. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, inverse head and shoulders spread. I said it's going to go to the 200-day, and that's where it went. Then we have this $10 premium here. This was that war between Israel and Iran. You notice that never does last kind of situation, but you can have that pop up at any time. So any kind of a disruption in crude, which, takes in so much consideration, I mean, hurricanes or storms or wars or anything on that order can just take, crude oil up. Now, crude oil is in play here, at least for the next couple weeks, all the way to the second week of like October. And then we'll take a look at it, but usually it's a nice short ski all the way down to the end of November. Okay. We have an RSI here sitting at 56. That's not overbought or oversold. The green is over red. This looks like it just wanted to go higher. I am long the UCO, and I am staying long here for the simple reason is this is what we got right here, okay? We had that indecision candle, but you held that 61.45. That tells me once we broke above that, you got to get long kind of a situation. So now I trade it, and I'm also the long, and now I'm going to see what the reaction is. if it gets up there, does it break on out here, or is that the end of it, and then she comes right up down again, and then what I do is I jump in the SEO and I take a short ski. Okay, two-way trader. Now, Natgas. Natgas here. Now you look at this here. We have this like red candle here, and we have the green line up here. So this is a possible bear flag. Now you can see here where, yeah, did it pop above that 8-day? Absolutely. Could it hold it? Hell no. See that? That's what I'm talking about. So realistically, you got to get back and close above that 8-day, not just get above it. You have to close above that. You have to close above that 20-day, and you have to close above that 50-day. Okay. If you do, then we come over top of that candle here. You're looking at 305. We have a 310, 313, okay, we have 316, and then we have that 319. Now, what I always want to point out to you is, see, while we had this high right here of 313, all you do is look at the chart, 313, that was resistance, but we had that bottoming tail, so you couldn't have stayed long situation. But the next day, you can see here where we went right at the 316. This is the candle I was watching right there, 316. See that? All right, see that double top situation? Now, this would have been a really good short. I didn't take the short. This time of the year here, I'm just looking at trading the long position, but it would have been a nice short. As soon as you see that double top like that, and the next day you see that low, I should have jumped right into KOLD and done. Now, I didn't do it because I'm trading so much, especially all this technology here today. There's so much stuff going on that it just, you can't do everything. So bottom line here is we'll just watch this 8-day on the upside when those futures open tonight. Watch that 21-day. And then watch that key 50-day. That's going to be all very key. Now, downside here, what you want to watch is just watch today's low, roughly 285. Yesterday's low, roughly 282. And then we come down here, 277. That was a gap. So all you have to do is look to the left there. What do we have? You had 277. Okay, see that double bottom? Now she's in play. You lose that, you're going to come to the gap fill, 274, 268, bottom of this candle, 265, and retest 262. Okay, just that simple. So let's just see how this is all going to shake out here. Now, today I just scalped the UNG, which was very, very good, and then out of the trade. So today what I'll be doing I'll be watching today's candle, 296 on the high side, 284 on the downside. That's what I'll be trading against here when those futures open there at 6 p.m. tonight. Same with this candle here on the crude. I'll be trading at 65.20 on the high side, 64.06. I'll be trading against that candle. We crack above it, and then I think we can go right here, kind of a situation. So I'm long the UCO, and I also trade the UCO here. Over here, I'm just trading the UNG for long. I'm not trading anything on the short side, even though that would have been a nice shorty. I'm just trading here just on the long side. Okay, RSI, why are you sitting at 46? That's got plenty of room to run. The green is below your red, but that can curl up here. Once we start getting above that 8-day, 21-day, and 50-day, this can go much, much higher. Now, remember, you're coming in this time of the year. Where Natgas usually, if you look at a seasonality chart, you can go to my playlist. I have seasonality charts right on there, or you can go to equityclock.com. They have all the seasonality charts, whatever you want, whatever you trade. And you can look at the natural gas. Usually it pulls back in September, and then you just have a nice good rally up here until the end of November here. So I just don't think that natural gas is going to stay down here in this $2 range, especially when you start getting down the road here on this. I just think you're going to have a big natural gas boom, because when they're talking about all this AI, something's got to power this. Okay, you got wind, solar, you know what I'm saying, and you got nuclear, and you got natural gas. Wind and solar, yeah, in certain areas, yeah, it's okay. How dependable it is, who knows? Nuclear, there's an old saying, yeah, sounds good, not in my backyard kind of situation. Natural gas, we're just flaring it off. You got so much natural gas available, and they're going to have to power up all these facilities somehow. And I think natural gas is going to be the play. All right, let's take a look here at the old indexes. Okay, just one last thing I want to say about natural gas. I think it's going to be the play going for all this AI and for the winter and everything. And again, if it isn't, we don't really give a shit here, okay? Because we're two-way traders, and we'll just short it right down to the nub if we have to. So always remember that two-way trade, it always seems to work. Okay, so here we go. I just don't want to say that, oh, yeah, you got to get into natural gas now. You got to go this and that. No. We trade the charts. If it doesn't work out, I got a feeling, I just got a thing that it's going to go higher. Natural gas here in this time period, like it always does. I've been trading this for 2.5 decades, and it's always usually the same old song. Okay, but if it doesn't, we can always use the short ski and bring it right on down here too. Okay, either way, we make money. Okay, so now we have this Dow. You had this topping tail, which is, even a blind guy could see this topping tail. Okay, so we came right on down. Okay, we're holding at 21 days. So I said, you got to watch that 8-day. That's the first level. Next level is the 21-day. That's what we're watching. Now, we start losing this on the closing basis. Yeah, we have a lot of targets there, but realistically, you're going to be looking at that 50 SMA here. Then we have the price channel, and then we come down to this level here at that 44,579 level. So there are targets that we want to look for. So always look to the 8-day, then look to the catch-all, which obviously we have, and look how nice it caught it there in the past. If we lose it, we got the 50 days going to be as a target kind of a situation. Now, here we have the S&P, okay? Now, I said when we were way down here, they're looking to push this to 7,000. Man, I was way off, okay? I was off by 48 cents. Man, that's it. You're done, Irontrader. Get out of here. You're freaking fired. Okay, 48 cents. So, okay, so I just figured that you're going to push that to 67. That's what they wanted. Now, we came on down. We're holding that 21-day. We lost that 8-day. So just watch that 21-day. You know, we've held it a lot of really nice good in the past. If we lose it, then we just watch that 50-day. And then we have that retest down here at 63, 60 level. Now, if we start losing this here, lose the 50-day, then I can tighten this right on up for you. I can tell you exactly where this thing is actually going to go. Now, we're losing here on your RSI is coming on off. Your green is folding over. So again, 1 day does not make a market. 2 days don't make a market. Let's see how this all shakes out. But just watch this time of the year and in the first couple of weeks of October. It's really the worst there for for stocks. Now, same thing here. 22,801. I thought they were really going to take that to 23,000. So again, came off by a couple points. Now we came all the way on down here. So we lost that 8-day. We're still holding that 21-day, but this is the same as on the chart. Watch that 20-day. We lose that, you're going to go to the 50-day, and then we have your retest down here at 2133 level. But realistically, what you really need here is a really good sell-off here, about a good 10% correction, and get this market where it belongs again, because this is like a ridiculously high kind of a scenario here. And realistically, what you need to do is get this down like we had these oversold conditions right there, and right here. And that shows you that was your buying opportunities versus this here. This is a trader's market. But for me, a guy like me here, I trade both directions, so it doesn't really make any difference. I usually trade that TQQQ. You can also trade SQQQ. That's a really good like on the short here. But there are some good trades today. Apple is a good trade today. Netflix is a good trade today. Palantir was a really good trade today. I'm all out of those now. I just take my money and I put it in my pocket. Okay. The Bitcoin short. That was a good trade day today. I scalped the UNG. That was a good trade today. The UCO. So there was a lot of still good stuff, even though you have all red across the board. But that's what a two-way trader does. Okay, you can make money in both directions. It doesn't matter. But realistically, when you look at this, get these charts all the way and come on down here again. Get this it's sold off here. Then we get back into the action if you're just a long trader. All right, I'll be back here tomorrow morning. We'll do it all over again. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.